Starting with the eyeshadow do, make sure you always prep your lids for the eyeshadow, whether it's using a concealer or an eyeshadow primer. Make sure that when you do apply either of these that they are well blended out and that you give them at least a couple seconds to dry just a little bit. You don't have to necessarily set it with powder, but if you prefer to do so, go right ahead. Applying a concealer or eyeshadow primer before you go in with your shadow. Make sure that the colors are going to apply out evenly. They are going to be more vibrant, more radiant, and the color is going to be more true to color. Do not go straight into your lids with the eyeshadow without priming your lids. The color will be not as radiant, it will be patchy, it'll be very hard to blend, and the oils from your lids will mix in with the shadow, making it even more patchier. So make sure you always prep your lids with concealer before you go in with the shadow. Next is an eyeshadow dupe, but this is all based on personal preference. Personally, I do not like setting my concealer with a translucent powder, just for the simple fact that the colors don't appear as vibrant as they are. The colors aren't really true to color to the ones that are in the pan. When you do apply translucent powder underneath your eyeshadow, it makes the colors very opaque, very translucent like, and you have to do a lot of building up just for the true color to even show up, and sometimes they never do. So personally, I do not like setting my concealer with a translucent powder. I just go ahead and let it sit on my lids, let it dry for about 10-15 seconds, and then I go in with my eyeshadow. Next are transition colors. Always remember that your eyeshadow is like building blocks. You are building up the gradient effect, you are building up the layers. You always have to go in with a transition color, because if you go in with a very dark color into your crease right off the bat, it's going to be very hard to blend. It's not going to have that nice gradient effect. It's just going to look like you just slapped some color on your lids and you just went on about your day. So if you want your eyeshadow to turn out the best, make sure you are always using a transition color. Next is an eyeshadow dupe. This is something that everyone should know. Make sure you are tapping off the excess eyeshadow from your brush. This allowed the eyeshadow to be distributed evenly throughout your lids, and it makes it very easy to blend. Going in with too much eyeshadow on your brush in at once will make your eyeshadow appear patchy. It'll make it very hard to blend, and you will have more color on one part of the eye than the other, and it just won't look right. So make sure you are dusting off or tapping off the excess powder from your eyeshadow brush. Next eyeshadow do is about pressure. Make sure you are not going in with a very heavy hand. Use a light hand and very light pressure when applying your shadow. A rule of thumb is to hold your brush in the middle with your index finger and your thumb. Make sure you're going in very lightly with a little amount of product, building it up and not too much pressure. Going in with a lot of pressure at the very beginning makes it very hard for you to blend, and the colors just aren't going to mesh well. It's going to look uneven, patchy, all of the things you're trying to avoid. So make sure you are going in with a very light hand. Next do is about mirrors. Make sure that you are using a small mirror when you are applying eyeshadow, and when you do use this mirror, do not look at it straight on. Make sure that you do place it underneath your chin, so that way you are forced to look down and you can see the full surface area of your lids. When you look at the mirror straight on, you are not able to see your full surface area. When you go to apply shadow, it's going to be placed in the wrong spots and it's going to look weird. So make sure you're always using a small mirror. Next do is about eyeshadow brushes and their purposes. Make sure you're using the right brush to do what the brush is supposed to do. If you want to blend, make sure you're using a blending brush. Don't use a packing brush. For example, here I'm trying to use a packing brush to blend and increase color. This just makes it really difficult for you to achieve the look you're going for. It just makes it really hard for you. It just makes it really hard, period. So make sure you're using the right brush to do what the brush is catered to do. If you guys want me to do a video dedicated on brushes and their uses, I can totally do that. But for now, there are so many videos out there, and there's also Google that can help you understand what each brush is meant to do. If you ever get the chance, never take it
chance on us.